I first met Elizabeth last August. She was just realising she wasn't alone in being exploited, that she wasn't to blame. It's now given her the confidence to tell me more. She talked about a woman who groomed girls for men to abuse. She was a white woman who told people that she'd converted to Islam. She drew Elizabeth into exploitation, and she wanted to know if the woman was still out there.
She dressed in Pakistani clothing. She used to smoke a lot. She was just really friendly and treat you like an adult.
This woman invited Elizabeth to her flat. The first her mother knew was when the woman phoned her.
She made it out that my daughter was going to her property because my daughter knew her daughter. I think we later found out that this girl wasn't actually a daughter, it was somebody that she'd provided in her property, if you like, to befriend other girls. She introduced herself as Shafina Ali.
We'd heard of Shafina Ali before. She was named in a confidential document we've seen. It includes information about suspected perpetrators. It describes Shafina Ali as an associate of men viewed as key abusers. She worked for taxi firms in Rotherham and was said to be trying to set up a cab company to transport school children. It looks like she used at least 4 different names. So what happened to that intelligence? A former Rotherham social worker agreed to meet. She was newly qualified when she was first told about Shafina Ali. She doesn't want to be identified.
I was given the information that this particular woman was dangerous and that she had set up a fake rape crisis centre. I believe it was in Sheffield or on the outskirts of Sheffield, and that she was potentially luring young girls through this rape crisis centre.
We've been told it involved a fake helpline which was shut down in 1999. 2 years later, Rotherham social workers were worried Shafina Ali was again targeting vulnerable girls. She was called to a meeting.
She was quite aggressive with me. I was quite worried, I was quite frightened of her, really.
She says frontline staff did their best, raising concerns about Shafina Ali at strategy meetings with police and senior council officials.
What happened after we'd expressed our concerns in these strategy meetings and given all this information, we had no idea what was happening with that information.
Rotherham Council says it can't comment because of ongoing investigations. It accepts and apologises for past failings. The council is now run by government-appointed commissioners. But it was those failings that allowed Shafina Ali to target Elizabeth.
The thing is with her, that she used to live in darkness. The curtains, everything. But she'd know what everybody were doing outside that property without even being outside. That's what I still can't understand. How a woman can sit and not go out, but she knew everything.
Shafina Ali no longer lives in the flat, but Elizabeth's parents now know more of what went on there.
I know there has been sex involved and she's been forced. These taxi drivers were coming and they were taking them somewhere. Where I don't know, because my daughter, obviously, she don't want to talk to her dad about these things.
When Elizabeth went missing for nearly 10 weeks, police found her at Shafina Ali's flat. Did you see the person who was in the flat?
Only a faint image when she were glancing at her on front window.
But when her father went to get Elizabeth, the police arrested him twice. Officers said she wanted to stay in the flat.
I should have kicked that door in that flat and took her myself, because sometimes when I get up in the morning and look in the mirror, I can't stand knowing that I left her in that flat. It kills me. I shouldn't have cared what police said. I should have gone in and got her.
It is the sort of abuse that was being spelt out in reports written by Dr. Angie Heal while she worked as an analyst for South Yorkshire Police. Those warnings were ignored. She now knows a key report in 2006 was sent to about 90 people, including high-ranking police officers.
It was sent to each of the district commanders in the 6 policing districts in South Yorkshire Police. There were 2 in Sheffield and 1 in Rotherham at that time. And it went to 2 officers, senior officers within the senior command team of South Yorkshire Police.
Even so, the Chief Constable at the time, Med Hughes, told MPs he didn't see any of her reports.
So you're saying to this committee you knew nothing about any of these issues?
I had no understanding of the scale and scope of the problems that have been come to light.
If this was going to senior officers, would you have expected this to be raised at the level of Chief Constable?
I would have thought so, yes, considering the seriousness of what was in the report.
The failure to act on Dr. Heal's warnings is being investigated by the Independent Police Complaints Commission. In a statement, South Yorkshire Police says it is in a very different position to where it was, and that it's working with other agencies to strengthen the support it gives victims and survivors. But there are more sinister claims about some police officers failing to act in Rotherham. 12-year-old Lisa's abusers boasted that they wouldn't be investigated.
They didn't care. They knew that somewhere they had helped to cover up their tracks. Because they said plenty of times that certain police officers would help them.
This flat, which has since changed hands, is where Lisa was locked in and abused for 2 days.
It was just like dirty, with like a small bed in the middle of the room and a small chair in back of the room. Just nothing else. It was really bare and just looked really damp and disgusting.
Her mum found the flat, then asked a local policeman to help get Lisa out.
The police officer walked in and shined a torch because there were no electric, and shined the torch towards me and said, "She's here, come on."
Do you think it would have been obvious to anyone who came in what had been happening?
I look back on it now, when it would have been obvious to me. If I walked in and I saw that, it would have been obvious.
The officer was PC Hassan Ali.
He just asked if we wanted to lift home, and Mum said no. And then he asked my mum if she wanted to do a statement, and because she was working next morning, she said that she couldn't do anything that like there and then, and he said he'd get back to her about it, and he never did.
2 people have made complaints against PC Ali. He'd been referred to the Independent Police Complaints Commission. A few months ago, he died after being hit by a car.
This is where PC Hassan Ali was crossing the road when he was struck by a car late on Wednesday
PC
night.
Ali's death was described as a tragic accident. The IPCC is investigating at least 42 South Yorkshire police officers for alleged failures in dealing with exploitation cases.